Red flag about Russia, saying that Russian President Vladimir Putin's hope to improve relations under President-elect Trump may not necessarily be the way you want to go. Ralph Peters, Fox News strategic analyst. Ralph, how you doing? Good day to you. I want to read for you
Bill.
now part of McCain's statement. Quote, "We should place as much faith in such statements as any other made by a former KGB agent who has plunged his country into tyranny, murdered his political opponents, invaded his neighbors, threatened America's allies, and attempted to undermine America's elections," end quotes. Apparently that came out of some sort of conversation that the president-elect had with Vladimir Putin the other day. What do you think's moving here and what we need to understand about the changing dynamic of this relationship?
Well, the first thing is thank God for John McCain, because he is 100% right on this issue. The president-elect has had a blind spot, an inexplicable blind spot when it comes to Putin. He keeps praising him. And Bill, we have just seen Putin over the last two administrations humiliate two American presidents, Bush and Obama, who thought they could deal with him. And Putin's now getting ready to devour a third. And so we all wish the new president well. We're all Americans to root against him.
You think devour?
Yeah, I mean, Putin is so good. He is brilliant, and Putin is never going to be our friend. He is our implacable enemy. He defines himself by his hatred of America. And Bill, Putin wants three things. He wants sanctions relief and to have his aggression legitimized. He wants the destruction of NATO. And he wants the influence of the United States around the world to be diminished. And he wants us humiliated. And don't underestimate this guy.
Yeah, I get
and
it.
I need to know why the president is saying it.
You're suggesting before Trump even takes the oath of office that he's going to get rolled by this guy. We don't know that.
No, of course we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But look, we want our next president to succeed. To wish for him to fail is to wish for America to fail. But I am very concerned about his constant naive statements about Vladimir Putin and Russia. He gets who's on whose side all mixed up. And frankly, it seems to me that Vladimir Putin has some hold over him, over President-elect Trump, that none of us understand yet, and I am very worried about it.
Okay, we'll see how this relationship plays out. Apparently they agree that U.S. relations, I think the word they used the other day, were unsatisfactory. There's another story that relates to this, and that's Assad in Syria. Earlier today he gave an interview, apparently with a Portuguese news agency, that talked about having a natural ally in Donald Trump. And the inference I took away from that comment was how tough Trump has been in talking about defeating ISIS. Is that the way you see it?
No, it's not, because Assad's not really worried about defeating ISIS. We're doing that for him. Assad is, and Russia, their Russian Air Force and the Syrian Air Force, are bombing hospitals and clinics. They're purposely terror bombing civilians. It's a massacre. And when Assad says he expects to be a natural ally with Donald Trump, he's hearing that from the Russians, who firmly believe that they can turn President-elect Trump. And, you know, you heard his remarks during the campaign to the effect that he said that, you know, Trump said that we're all on the same side fighting ISIS. But again, the Russians and the Syrians are fighting the freedom fighters we have trained and equipped. They are letting us do the dirty work while they do the filthy work.
So, Colonel,
it's ugly.
You know that Russia launched more airstrikes this week in Syria.
Mm-hmm. And against civilians.
Understood. What is your advice then to the new president in dealing with Putin?
Don't be a patsy. Look, I mean, we would love to have better relations, healthier relationships with Russia, but it's not our fault that they haven't worked out. Clinton tried in the 90s. Bush tried. Obama tried. The Russians have been the ones that always make a mess on the floor. I mean, it's not our fault. And President-elect Trump needs to listen to people outside of his narrow circle, outside of those who have ties to Russia. Listen to people like John McCain, who've been doing this for a very, very long time. And I go back to what I said at the beginning. McCain is 100% right on this.
Okay, Colonel, thank you for your time. We'll see how the relationship goes.